What is up, my wizards? Dev back again from the place down there. No deck tech for now. We'll have one up later today. But anyway, I've been wanting to do this for a while. I've got a lot of things to talk about here in a short amount of time. These are my top 5 predictions for Battle for Zendikar. A lot of speculation going on right now, and it won't be too long until spoiler season. Release date is October 2nd. It is currently like August the 10th right now, so it's just really not that much time left until we start seeing spoilers, so I wanted to get this on out. And while we're at it, we already have a spoiler for Battle for Zendikar if you haven't seen it yet. If you have seen it, then we're going to talk about it. But if you haven't seen it, it's pretty exciting, right? Yeah, we'll talk about all that and more right now. Well, number 5 on my list of 5 predictions. This one's a small one, but it means a lot to a fair amount of players. So number 5 is that I think Essence Scatter may appear in Battle for Zendikar. Really, myself, I really kind of hope it does. This is a good option for not only control decks, which are going to take a slight hit once the rotation hits, but, you know, not that bad. You know, blue-black control will take a hit because mostly heroes Downfall and Thoughtseize. That's going to suck. Dissolve rotates out. What the heck are we going to do about that? So we especially need something to counter creatures. We got to negate in the format. Nullify rotates out. Gotta have something to counter creatures, and I really hope we get Essence Scatter back. Nice splashable 2 mana, just very efficient counterspell, and I really, fingers crossed that it comes back. Number 4 is I'm gonna say Boreal Druid. Now I really want Elvish Mystic or Llanowar Elves to come back, but Mark Rosewater has written an article that maybe 1 mana elves, or 1 mana, you know, mana acceleration guys are a little too OP, but if we do get one, which I hope we do, especially for the Elves deck, it's going to suck for that deck to lose Mystic, but in any case, if we do get one, I think it'll probably be Boreal Druid or maybe Elves of Deep Shadow, perhaps that, but likely also Druid. It'd be nice for this to get another printing. It's not like the price of it is ridiculous or anything, but so many players like the card, and it hasn't been reprinted in a very long time, or I don't know that it ever has been reprinted, but in any case, it'd be nice to see this back, and realistically, I think it's the most we can really expect. Number 3, Landfall. I feel like this is hopefully a safe bet. Now we've seen some things like Nix's Pilgrimage, Explosive Vegetation was like randomly reprinted. A couple of things, Animist Awakening is a really good example of things that would work really, really well with Landfall. And there's a green enchantment for 5 mana in Origins, the name escapes me now, but it is functionally a Landfall card, so that may be hinting that Landfall will come, or maybe hinting that there won't be Landfall, so there is that too, but I think it's more of a hint that maybe we'll see Landfall as we go back to Zendikar, and Landfall is one of my favorite abilities of all time, and it works with the spoiler that we're going to get to a little bit later pretty well too. So I really hope Landfall comes back. I hate drawing dead lands later on in the game, and Landfall makes it totally worth it most of the time. So especially when you've got this huge board position and like most of your dudes are Landfall, you drop 1 land and the world changes. I love that. I love Landfall and really, really want to see this come back. Number 2 is probably what I'm going to talk the most about. This is lands. Obviously, for those not in the know yet, Mark Rosewater has written another article. This one basically just straight up, flat out saying there are not going to be fetchlands, Zendikar fetchlands, in BfZ, which is kind of a flavor fill on some notes, and there's a lot of contention about that article in the Magic community. What, no fetchlands, no enemy-colored fetchlands? What a joke! That's horrible. It's going to, you know, drive the price of Modern up because these cards, now that we know they're not going to reprint it, will spike, and that's probably going to happen. But that being said, I'm sort of more on the side of people that say we don't want all 10 fetchlands in Standard. That would be really OP, and it would really put a lot of budget players out in the rain. There's a lot of reasons why you wouldn't want them, and I agree with people. The main point that I agree with is I don't want all 10 fetchlands in Standard at the same time, because that would be really insane, and not only because it would be overpowered, but because all the shuffling would get ridiculous. I think we can all agree on that. I mean, you'd be shuffling constantly in a game with, you know, all the fetch lands possible. So there's a few reasons not to do it. I don't think it's a total fail that they're not doing it, and I've seen a lot of contention on this. You know, I was on Lion's channel the other day, big ups, MTG Lion, good channel. And in the comments of his video addressing the fetchlands thing, there were people, you know, everywhere, from people saying, you know, this is going to kill Modern, to people saying, you know, oh, I'm never playing, you know, Magic again, even, to people just saying, you know, what I just said, don't really want that much shuffling, don't want them all in Standard, you know, people mad that they're not going to be all in Standard. I mean, there's all kinds of different players. There are even extremes, you know, players basically saying, like, WotC doesn't care at all about players and all. That is ridiculous, by the way. They've done a lot of things that show they do care about players. But in any case, that's on the extreme side of everything. But here's my speculation, at least, my top 3 land sets that we might get back. Now, they might just print an entirely new, set of dual lands. That would be awesome, and it's totally, totally possible. There's a 50-50 shot. But if we do get reprinted, dual lands in the set, these are what I think they might be. Number 3 in this list within a list here is the man lands. I think that that's entirely possible. They're all, generically named. They don't belong to any one plane or anything. It'd be nice to have both man lands and dual lands. And I've been wanting like Treetop Village or Fairy Conclave back for years now, but I could see this happening instead, especially in a format more dominated, more by aggro than a lot of things. And especially, like I've said before, 3-mana creatures and under once collected company becomes even more of a thing in standard once rotation hits. I think that will happen, but in any case, yeah, I think it'd be nice to have man lands, especially for control decks. So I don't know that that'll happen, but that is my number 3 pick. Number 2, I'm going to go ahead and say filter lands. I want this to be number 1, but and I'm still wondering, but I want this to be number 1, but I don't know that they'll bring back filter lands. I really don't know that they will. They are important to Modern and will drive the price of playing Modern down, considerably. But I just don't know that it's the time for filter lands. We do see hybrid mana though in Gon's block, so that could be a hint. But all in all, I think that number 1 is more likely. Number 1, probably the one people are would be most disappointed to see back, but I really, really, really like these lands. They function very well with fetch lands in the block too, or in standard. The buddy lands, if you remember these guys from just a few years back, I think these lands function very, very well. I like them a lot. They don't come into play tapped, that's really, really good right now. It'd be nice to not have a format dominated by lands that come into play tapped, slowing everything down. I do want the format to be freed up to do a little bit more things in the first couple of turns, and this will definitely help out with that. And again, not having lands that come into play tapped is good because that helps us out a little bit against aggro, red aggro specifically, which is a force. Although we don't know how that deck's going to be post-rotation, but it doesn't lose everything. It loses Rabble Master, which sucks. But not the one that won Pro Tour Magic Origins doesn't even play Rabble Master, so have that. But anyway, rant over as far as that's concerned. These are my top 3, man lands, filter lands, and buddy lands. I wouldn't mind seeing the buddy lands back at all, although they might disappoint people, and I could understand why. And number 1, the safest bet so far, because we've already got a spoiler, ElDrazi. I mean, we all figured ElDrazi were coming back, but the last couple of months has been like, maybe, but they probably are, right? Maybe. I mean, it'd be cool if Wizards did it. I could understand if they didn't. Totally are doing it. Here's one right here, Oblivion Sower. This is what I was saying works really well with Landfall earlier. And if you can, by the way, cool thing you can point out about this card, if for any reason they have lands in exile, Delve, for instance, then you can totally use those. You can put them right into play. Oblivion Sower, not a terrible card, honestly. 6 mana, 5/8 is awesome, blocks all day, and has I think a super relevant ability for just ramping you, and of course this does cost 6 mana, so it's sort of at the top of a lot of curves. But if we see anything with the curve that something like a red-green devotion has right now, then this would slot very, very well into it. I do like the card. We'll probably see even better ElDrazi than this, although who knows how many ElDrazi we'll actually see. Now, I do think this will be standard playable all day, and we'll have to see about Modern. I'm really not too convinced, but this screams ridiculous thing to me, so let me know how you feel about it. I'm not really sure how to grade it right now. I'm sure it does plenty of things. It does, again, interact very well with Delve, and it, obviously you'll get a couple, hopefully, 1 or 2 lands off of it, even if they don't have any lands already in exile from delving. So I think that it's a viable, playable card for a lot of decks. And one more thing about this, the return of ElDrazi will, something else, I've already talked about this, that brings down the price, or brings down the effectiveness and the playability of Ultimate Price. We'll shift from a format where we mostly see, a lot of monocolored decks, true, and some 3-colored decks, but plenty of monocolored creatures, to a format that looks to be a lot more focused on multicolored creatures. So we probably, and ElDrazi is going to be in the set. So it seems like that's going to drive down the effectiveness of Ultimate Price and possibly even move it to the board in a lot of decks. We'll have to see about that. But that's the end of my speculation on Ultimate Price right there. It's just really, really cool that we are absolutely 100% faux show getting back ElDrazi, and I'm super excited about that. Well, that's all I got for today. Do you guys have any predictions for BfZ that I didn't cover here, or anything you'd like to see, other than, of course, full art lands. We all want to see full art basic lands. I'm pretty sure that's a given. But I'm almost sure we're definitely 100% going to get full art lands. They wouldn't do that because they care about players. But anyway, that's all I got to say for now, you guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe. We got an awesome deck tech coming up a little bit later today. You want to be around for that. I'll see you guys later. My name's Dev from SBMTG. Thanks for watching, my wizards.